We are in the beautiful world of Sulani today, and I honestly feel like this world is super, super underrated and underutilized. Island living itself as an expansion pack was a bit disappointing, unfortunately. The gameplay just didn't really hit the mark, but I will say, Island Living probably still is my favorite, like one of my favorite expansion packs in The Sims 4. There's something about the world, the environment, the kind of culture it represents, just the gameplay, as lackluster as it was enough to kind of, motivate me and inspire me to, really get into it when it came out. And I loved this pack. Today, though, we're not on one of the beachfront lots. This is Tangled Flat. I love this lot so much. It is just got a nice little neighborhood vibe. It's kind of a little bit worn from being near the ocean and such. So I'm building a tiny home here, and I want this tiny home to feel pretty realistic. I didn't want it to just be another like island living themed home. You can see all the homes surrounding in this area, and those homes are pretty nice looking. They're very much the island vibes, but I didn't want to build something that was just like the stereotypical island vibe. I wanted something that looked like a house that was actually in the islands. I found a home on Google Street View. Actually, I went to Hawaii and Google Street View, and I just plorped my little character, the street view dude, as I call him. I plorped him down just in a random spot, and I found this just neighborhood that was kind of, it was a little bit, run down. I hate saying the word run down because that, we'll say lived in. It was a lot more lived in and a lot more realistic. And I found this house that it definitely looked a little bit more like a lot older than the home that I'm building now, but it just had that vibe. It was just a little house in the islands, just a normal person lives here. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't anything bougie, it was just a home. I just instantly fell in love with the vibe. I did really nice green siding that I feel like honestly looks quite muted compared to everything surrounding this lot. You have all these fake buildings around that are very vibrant and very colorful, and you have all of this lush greenery, and then you just kind of have a simple-ish looking home, but I still think it fits quite nicely in with this islandy vibe. It just feels a lot more realistic, a lot more just lived in, and I don't know, it doesn't feel like a stereotypical home. It just feels like, a real home. I can say it over and over again, but yeah, I love this world so much, and I wanted to build a home that would capture the vibes that I wanted to go for here. So I went with this tiny home style. It was honestly just a really simple shape. This is like sort of inspired by the actual house that I was talking about. I obviously didn't really see the surrounding area or the floor plan or the backyard or anything like that. I just saw the front of the house and went with that. And it did take me a while. At least the landscaping took me a while. I was being very indecisive about the landscaping, and I was trying to use primarily island living, like live edit objects and fences, landscaping, stuff like that. And it was, it made me fall in love with island living even more. It was one of those packs that when it came out that it was so exciting, and we got so much fun things we could do. And I still feel like the pack itself was kind of, I almost feel like, EA kind of got a little lazy with it. Not lazy. I don't like using that word, but I just feel like they rushed it. I feel like they, skipped over some content that it could have had. And I don't know. It was genuinely still one of my favorite packs, but I wish it had a little bit more attention that it deserved. I did a fun little stony path leading from the little pavement there. That actually is terrain paint from the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. I thought that looked quite nice. It looked like a, paved driveway, and I could, layer terrain paint on top of it to kind of give it some age and some wear and tear. I thought that was a nice little touch, and I surprisingly didn't didn't use like a ton of things from Island Living in this pack or in this build. You saw the landscaping, of course, but the build itself wasn't really super heavy-handed with the Island Living content. I really just kind of went crazy with everything that I had in the game to kind of just make a fun, islandy kind of home that just, it was obviously definitely for a single sim. Maybe they're a bit of a creative sim. Maybe they play guitar. I put a few guitars here and there. I had that idea in my head where they're maybe a guitar player. Maybe they play at local events or something. I really think that this is going to go on my save file. I have 2 save files that I'm working on currently. I have the one where it's just, my own builds with no limits, and then there's the base game one. So this is definitely going to go into the no limits build save. I really love it. I really love the style, the vibes, the attention to detail that I did. I'm patting myself on my own back, but I can definitely see a sim living here that I can actually create, and they're maybe a guitar player. I can see that. That makes me want to play it. Speaking of gameplay, and speaking of Sulani, I actually got a really nice suggestion from a longtime viewer. Shout out to Honest Insights Tarot, my friend that I've had for years in the Sims community. They left such a wonderful comment about my Rags to Riches Let's Play, and they suggested something about Nancy, having connections and driving basically August and Jeffrey out of Evergreen Harbor. And so I was like, that's a good idea because they want to start fresh. And I thought that was a really fun, storyline to kind of play with. And I was thinking of moving them to a really fun world, but Sulani just caught my attention. And so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking of moving them to Sulani, to that really, that kind of off the grid island in the top right corner of the map. I can never remember the names of any of these neighborhoods, but basically I thought that would be a really fun place for them to start. And obviously I'm going to have Johnny with them for a little while. I don't think I'm going to have him with them forever, but I'm really excited to have them start from scratch because I'm getting rid of all their simoleons. Maybe, he still has his business for now, but I'm thinking of having August move his business to Sulani possibly. I'm not really sure. It's been on my mind, and I'm pretty excited to give it a go again because it's been a long time since I've recorded any gameplay. It's quite literally been a year since I uploaded Rags to Riches, so I'm very, very excited. So yeah, please leave any suggestions that you have for that series down below. Is there anything different you want me to, give a go with the Rags to Riches, challenge sort of? I mean, at this point, I don't really think it's more of a challenge for me. I think it's more of just a fun gameplay kind of element. It's just kind of giving me a little bit of a jumping off point, if you will. I'm not really caring too much about finishing the challenge. But yeah, like I said earlier, the landscaping took me a while with this build. You can see I was really indecisive with it, honestly, because I wanted to make it really sloppy, really like all over the place and wild and lush, but it just wasn't really like fitting right. And once I put these bushes in, these were from the Get Together expansion pack. There are some live edit objects. Those bushes, honestly, they kind of, changed it up a bit because I had, green on green on green on green. And so the, just like the brownish tone of those bushes kind of, broke it up a little bit and made it look pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. This home, I forgot to mention, this home is not really considered a tiny home because I don't have it set as a tiny home. It probably is within 100 tiles at least, but when I build tiny homes anymore, I don't really make them tiny house residential lots. I don't really bother with that, just because I feel like for me, yeah, obviously that would be great for gameplay if you were actively like playing a challenge or a family or you're starting out, something like that. But if you're just building like me, I don't think it really matters. So I am just making it the essence of a tiny home. If it looks like a tiny home, it's a tiny home in my opinion. And it's probably over 100 tiles because I do use like the big, the back deck. And then I also use like room and platform tools to kind of like, add trim and stuff around the roof, all that good stuff. So the layout in the very beginning that I was trying there, where I had like the kitchen at the back of the house, I did not like it. So you can see me switch it really, really quickly. And the vibes in this house are really just kind of mismatched, nothing intentional. They just kind of collected things over the years. It's colorful, it's a little bit used, and I don't know. It's just a mix of a lot of different styles and a lot of colors, but I didn't go so crazy with it that it just looked like, an eyesore. It was just the right amount, I think. And I'm pretty happy with it. I used the counters from the Horse Ranch pack. I used all sorts of stuff from all different packs actually to kind of come up with this vibe. And I really like the layout too. It's a very small space, but I think it's just right. Like there's plenty of room for Sims, and yes, your Sim will be able to prepare food in the kitchen. They can prepare food on the little corner cabinet there. It's a little bit awkward looking and a little tight sometimes, but it works. It does the job. I changed the outdoor siding also on this build so often. I keep going back and forth with it, and I just eventually decide to use what I used in the very beginning there. So just ignore all of that. But yeah, it's coming along. It's looking cute. I have a big pet peeve with kitchen cabinets right now. And especially right here in this kitchen, I wanted there to be kitchen cabinets across the whole kitchen. I wanted them to have, a lot of figurative space. But there's not very many cabinets that have small upper cabinets that are repeatable, because a lot of them have the same little clutter objects in them, and if you put multiple of them, it just looks not right. So I had to use these ones from the base game. I think these looked really good. I think they kind of broke up all of the greens and the blues, and it was just added a little bit of a light wood to kind of break it up a bit. But I still wish we could change the clutter objects in those, or at least I wish they had slots in them, so where you could place your own clutter objects. Maybe I wanted to put a pride flag outside too, but I opted for the little rainbow hearts that you get from the outdoor retreat game pack. I love those little objects. I thought they fit very nicely with the vibes here in this house. And yeah, you can kind of see this is really the overall style, just kind of mismatched nonsense. And I really like it. It's simple. It's easy. I didn't want to over clutter this home, because tiny homes, you don't have a lot of space, so you don't want to waste all of the space. So I just did a few, a single plant, a trash can. I remembered the trash can. Can you believe that? I don't ever remember the trash cans in my builds at all. And the little love seat, I love this little love seat. It's from the high school years expansion pack. It fits so nice with the vibes here in Island Living. It's just right. I wish we had more, honestly, that's one thing. I wish we had more couches that had clutter and stuff on it, like blankets and pillows and stuff. And I wish we were able to change the orientation of them. That would be so fun. I wish there would be an option or a version that didn't have the blankets. So you could do two of these, and one of them could have a blanket and one of them could have no blanket. And so it would look, it would make sense, because if I were to use two of these in this build, it would be wow, they placed a blanket in the same exact spot twice. That's kind of weird. The bathroom is functional. I will say, I've built these bathrooms many times over. They are fully functional. It's a very tiny bathroom. It is a little 2x1 bathroom. There isn't a sink in there. There's a sink in the kitchen. I know that's kind of weird. But it's a tiny home. I see that all the time in real life tiny homes. Sometimes people will opt for just using the sink in the kitchen because, you don't want to waste extra space for just another sink, or waste extra plumbing or water or whatever just for that. That's just crazy. The bed is from the Growing Together expansion pack. I thought it was, I had to use it in this build. It was perfect for this build, because the beds from Island Living are very nice. The single bed is perfect, I think, but the more the double beds, they're a little bit too touristy hotel room vibes, and not realistic bed vibes, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm just kind of cluttering up the spaces a bit, not too much, but just enough to add a little bit of life to this build. Using the base game blinds here that look like bamboo. They kind of fit perfectly with the vibes here, the colors and everything. And I wish these curtains that came with the the movie hangout stuff pack, I wish those curtains came with more swatches. I know they have a lot, but I wish they had just more basic swatches. I'm pretty sure there's people out there that have recolored them. Honestly, if you've seen people recolor those, let me me know. And I'll honestly consider just using them in my builds. Not for my save file necessarily, but for my own personal stuff, I definitely would. I wish we had more of these like little sliding doors in The Sims 4 because those are really nice for tiny homes. They just make a lot of sense because, you know, in real life, a lot of people do use those. I don't want ones that look like farmhouse stores. Not those. Those are tacky to me. I hate those. They look so ugly and so weird and garish. Like this one from Island Living is very nice because it's just simple wood. It has some fun patterns on it. It has nice color swatches. I just wish we had more like that, honestly. I did add some laundry. I know. I just love the vibes of them hanging their laundry outside. Just the idea of that. So they don't have a washer and dryer though. So I might honestly think about and consider building a laundromat. I don't know if I'll build it in Sulani. I probably should since I'm doing this here, but that would be a pretty fun, like a fun build to do in all the different worlds, like building a laundromat and just doing like different styles and vibes depending on where it is. Like I can imagine what one would look like here in Sulani, and I kind of want to build that. There's a lot of lots in The Sims 4 that are not just homes that I really want to build, laundromats being one of them. I just want to build some like realistic looking stuff. Like I'm not here to build like perfect, you know, suburban homes. I really like building realistic stuff, so a laundromat would be very fun. I don't know, I know in The Sims 3 you could actually go to a laundromat and have your Sims do laundry and they would actually have to pay, which was very fun. It came with ambitions, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think you can do that in The Sims 4, but that would be still pretty fun to just have a lot to where you could do that. Maybe you can make it into like a cafe or something and like have a little, you know, cafe or restaurant next door, possibly. Do let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions or ideas for that, because honestly, that sounds pretty fun. This home is available on The Sims 4 gallery. All you have to do is search for the hashtag Lucca, that is Lucca, or the username Lucca Owens. It's LuccaOwens, and all that info is in the description box down below. Definitely go check out my gallery page if you want to see more tiny homes and random things. I have a lot of builds. I have a lot of things on there. This game has been out for a long time. I've been building in it since basically the beginning, so there's a lot of nonsense on there. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed today's little speed build. Do let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for literally any gameplay or building content you would like to see. I would be very appreciative of it. Sometimes my brain just needs people to tell me what to do, and then I'll figure out what I actually want to do. Or, you know, sometimes I'll see your suggestions and be like, wow, that's brilliant. I'm going to do that. That's pretty much everything, y'all, though. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water. Take your vitamins. I need to take mine. And that is pretty much it. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay weird, and I'll speak to y'all next time. Bye, y'all.